Do you struggle with keeping your heels down when you come into a deep squat? If you give me 1 month, I bet I could help you get into this or hold this posture longer. There are 2 common reasons why this tends to be difficult for some people, and the first one is ankle dorsiflexion, the ability to close the distance between your toes and your shin. And sometimes it's not just the flexibility that's the problem, it's strength. Not being able to hold your body weight when you're in this posture. And the second one is limited hip flexion, the inability to bring the knees close to the chest and hold this posture without rounding the back. So coming into this posture here. Coming into this posture requires a bit of opening in your hips, but there is an element of internal rotation here that happens that you need to access. So you need both hip flexion and internal rotation. So I'm going to give you 3 drills, and if you do these 3 drills daily, I promise you it's going to help get you into a deeper squat, feel more comfortable, or even get your heels down or work towards it. For the first one, we're going to work on the ground up. So you want to bring your foot heel in line with your knee, bring both hands on top of the thigh, make sure that you're spreading all 5 of your toes, and feel the points on the ground with your foot. There should be 3 areas that you're focusing on: inside ball of the foot, outside ball of the foot, and the heel. What helps is if you pick up your toes and flare them, that'll make the points a little bit more indented so that you could feel, and just wiggle your foot side to side, front and back, and you'll feel those 3 points. Then you can set the toes down. Once you have that, make the spine straight, start to bring your chest over your thighs, and lean forward. Here, we're building a bit of strength into this ankle dorsiflexion position. You're going to hold it here for 5 seconds, and then you're going to give yourself a break. And you're going to repeat this process 10 times. Leaning into your end range, holding it. This should be about an 8 out of 10 in difficulty, 7 out of 10. 5 seconds, and give yourself a break. All right, do that 10 times. Then you want to grab a block and place the ball of the foot on it. Same idea where you're spreading the toes, and you're going to lean forward, pushing the foot down into the block so that you feel your calf muscle fire up. You're going to hold it here for 5 breaths. Then you're going to lean back. But as you lean back, you're going to keep this distance between your toes and your shin and pull the toes back as best as you can. Squeezing, maximal effort, like 9 out of 10, you're pulling the toes back. All right. You're going to hold it here for 5 breaths, and then you're going to repeat, pressing forward into the block, going into your end range of the stretch for 5 seconds, and pulling back for 5 seconds. You're going to do that 10 times. Then for the last exercise, we're going to come into a 90-90 position. And here we're going to work on opening up the glute as well as opening up that internal rotation. So here, front shin is parallel with the mat, back shin is parallel to the side of the mat, and you're creating 90-degree angles. Get nice and long through the spine. Keep the spine straight if you can. If this already feels pinchy or difficult, you can lean out to the side. Just keep the spine straight and then lean forward. As you lean forward, see if you could put more pressure of the leg down into the ground and not so much using your hands to hold yourself up. Once you found a range that's good for you, then get light onto the hands and hold it in your deep range. Maybe lean forward a little bit more to make it more challenging. Hold it there for 5 seconds. And then come out of it. You're going to do this 10 times, leaning into it with the straight spine, coming out of it. Then we're going to focus on the internal rotation on the back leg. Grab your block, place it under your knee. The height of the block is going to depend on how difficult it is for you to internally rotate your leg. All right, higher is going to be easier. But before you start turning towards this back leg, I want you to push down into the block and push the foot down into the ground. You're really going to feel this fire up. Then bring your hands down behind you, sit up nice and tall. And while you're pushing, you're going to turn the chest towards the back leg. If you feel like you have a bit more range, you could always move the block out of the way and go into a deeper internal rotation. Now, as you do this, the tendency is for this knee to come up, to alleviate and compensate for the tightness that you feel here. So come back to a place where you are actively pushing the knee down. You're sitting up straight without rounding your low back. And if that means that your knee comes up, then fine. Grab your block and use your knee pushing into the block as opposed to trying to get your knee to the ground. So you're going to hold it here for 5 breaths, give yourself a break, and then do it again for 5 breaths for a total of 10 times. Then last bit to this 90-90 position, turn back over towards the front leg, extend the leg out, turn the toes up, and then you're going to slide the knee in, gliding the heel against the ground as tight as you can towards your body. And here your back is going to want to round, and you're going to want to do this. Try as best as you can to keep the spine straight as you keep squeezing your hip flexor muscles tighter to get the knee in closer. And then when you can't get in anymore, then you're going to hold it here for 5 breaths and then release. Give yourself a break. You could even come back into the 90-90 if that feels tight on your internal rotation back here. Then you're going to do this 10 times. Pulling the toes up, drawing the knee in, squeeze into your end range, hold it here for 5 breaths, release, and back. All right, with these drills, you're going to target the 2 common areas that people really struggle with when coming into a deep squat, which is that ankle dorsiflexion and that hip flexion. All right, let me know how this goes in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one.